I'm Connor Hughes. I'm going to be talking to you about factory farming today, and hopefully I can change the ways of what you eat and what you're putting into your body. Um, so, People are becoming more and more aware of what we're putting into our bodies, whether it be the harmful effects of drugs or what we're actually consuming. It's with the big boom of social media, it's easier than ever to access this information on factory farms and what's actually going on inside these farms. People are seeing not only the mistreatment of the animals, but also how their food's being produced. Industrial farms are pumping antibiotics into these animals, keeping them in filthy conditions, and denying them access to a more natural lifestyle. Not only is the treatment of these animals disgusting, but the fact that we're eating them is even more gross. And you'll see what I mean by that. Although farms follow the rules and standards set out to them, they're still horrifically mistreating these animals every day. This is a topic I have researched for a while. I've been generally interested in it, and I've been doing extensive research on it for the past few weeks. So first, I'd like to give you a little taste of what factory farming is by showing you a short little clip inside a broiler chicken farm.
Will be as young as 5 weeks old when they are sent to slaughter. Yet in these few short weeks, he will have experienced a lifetime of suffering. Chickens who are raised for meat have been selectively bred to grow at 3 times their natural rate. As their bodies grow too quickly, their legs struggle to cope. Many birds die, unable to lift their own weight to reach food or water. For others, their heart and lungs simply cannot cope with such unnatural growth.
So you got a little taste of what's going on inside these industrial farms. Now let's get into the inhumane conditions that they live in. These are broiler chickens, which are raised for meat in the U.S. And according to Leah Garces from the book Introducing Issues with Opposing Viewpoints Factory Farming, published in 2015, in a broiler chicken farm, birds are trapped in feeders, unable to reach the water. Their chests become so heavy that they have trouble moving. The overpowering smell of feces and ammonia is so strong it even burns people's eyes and nostrils. They basically live in a 500-foot long, windowless area that has 25,000 chickens in this space. And this sea of chickens defecates and urinates all in this area over the span of 45 days. So the chickens not only are peeing and pooping in this place, they also die in there too, like just from natural cause. Well, not natural, but they die before being slaughtered. So with all the antibiotics being pumped into the chickens, they literally grow at such an unnatural rate. About, I think in the video it said 3 or 4 times, but if humans were to grow this fast, we'd be 349 pounds by the age of 2. So imagine living your whole life in a crowd where you go to the bathroom at the same spot, you can't even move, and you're just gonna die there. So not only are these animals living in the filthy conditions, they're also abused and not treated humanely. So these are layer chickens, and they lay most of the eggs in the United States. According to the article, factory farms produce meat in unethical ways. Layer chickens are put into cages about 14 square inches with 5 to 8 other birds, and due to the limited space, their beaks and toes are cut off without anesthetic. The cage's bottoms are made of wire, which chafes the skin and deforms feet and rips out their feathers. And basically, layer chickens are put into a process called forced molting, which is a 5 to 14-day process where they're being starved, dehydrated, and kept in a dark environment. And this is to shock them into another laying cycle. So this is basically just a result of the greed of these industrial farms, and they're literally torturing the animals in order to get more production out of them and more money out of them before they die. And for most of these, for a good amount of these layer chickens, they actually end up dying from fatigue. One of my least favorite practices, and probably one of the worst I've seen, is called foie gras, which is fatty liver in duck and geese. According to the article, standard factory farming practices constitute legalized animal abuse. These animals are force-fed to produce the fatty liver delicacy, and their liver can be enlarged up to 10 times the normal liver. They are force-fed in a brutal way, as they shove large quantities of food by a long pipe down the bird's throat. This is just intentional abuse, and just for a delicacy, is it really worth it? So next up, what action can we take on this matter? Basically, we can try to stop eating from big companies. From the survey responses, some options the class gave me were going vegan or stop eating from bigger companies. I'm not a vegan, and if not eating meat is a problem for you, then that doesn't matter. You can still watch what companies you're buying from and what you're eating. So for example, according to the website Cruelty Free Investing, some companies that treat animals the worst are Tyson, America's largest meat company, Smithfield Foods, which is America's largest pork company, and Dean Foods, a company that produces a third of the eggs in the United States. So a couple of you mentioned in my survey about seeing the video of Fairlife and how they were beating that calf, and that's just an example of like how some of this stuff gets out, and the actions we should take for it. And actions that I took was I stopped buying Fairlife products, and I showed my friends the video and encouraged them to stop buying, because there's just other companies that produce milk, and what's the difference, you know? So I encourage you to do the same as me in boycotting these abusive companies and inform your peers of their malpractice. So to conclude things up, today we discussed how factory farms abuse and intentionally torture animals into production, how they generally live in poor, inhumane conditions, and how they also intentionally abuse their animals and torture them into producing more. These animals literally are laying among their dead compatriots. I encourage you, the audience, to take action by being responsible and looking into companies that are abusing animals, and ceasing buying from them, and also encouraging your friends and peers to do the same, and show them when a video surfaces and comes up about a company mistreating animals. Thank you.